r/AskReddit by Reddit and chill. Parents. What is the most shocking thing you've heard, witnessed, experienced upon meeting your child's new boyfriend, girlfriend? So I am at my GF parents' house waiting to eat breakfast for the first time. The food smelled amazing. My GF asks me to help her take a box upstairs. I decided to man up and help out. Tell me why when I get to my GF room she drops her robe in front of me. SMH. My GF mom yells out if I want some hardwood bacon, and I thought to myself, there is too much hardwood in this house, RN. Honestly, your GF is a little messed up playing games with you like that at her parents' house, but I guess it adds to the suspense. Ugh, poor people. Meta already. I never thought I would strike a teenager until I saw a boy smack my daughter's $sign in front of me with impunity. Well, what'd you do, Pops? I struck him. You smacked his behind, didn't you? Not a parent, but when I brought my first girlfriend home I was too embarrassed to say anything to my parents. So we went directly to my room and started fooling around. Here's what transpired. My mom opens the door to my bedroom and stopped mid-sentence. Hey, I was thinking we could have turkey for. I awkwardly remove my hand from the front of my girlfriend's unbuttoned jeans. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you had company. Yeah, this is Caitlin. Hi Caitlin. Did you want to join us for supper? Suwari. Then we all had a super awkward dinner together. Fun times. OU/Shaunus Maximus. I'm respecting your privacy by knocking butt and hitting my authority as your mother by coming in anyway. Fairly odd parents, that was my shit. It was just on this morning. My son's girlfriend will just not stop singing Let It Go, and it is really starting to wear on my son. I should mention they are 5 and he has a girlfriend. That kid is going places. Not college. Or college. When I first met my ex's dad, I thought in my young, naive 17-year-old brain that it would be a great idea to go in for a big, manly handshake. He'd broken his wrist in a cycling accident the week before. I can still hear the crack it made in my nightmares. I also may or may not have let him drive himself to the hospital while I had disappointing teenage sex with his daughter. To be fair, I did offer to call him an Uber. Hey, you broke the man's hand and his daughter's hymen in one afternoon. Good show. And then he broke up with her and broke her heart. And then went home and played some video games and broke some records. When I was 16 I met this girl who went to high school across town through a buddy who was dating her friend. Our parents were pretty liberal and we spent most of our weekends getting high and drunk in the pool house and swimming when we wanted to cool off. Needless to say, it took about 3 days before I lost my V card to this girl, and it was the awesomest. Here's the thing. When you're 16 and you find a girl who is DTF, you never let that go. I was immediately her boyfriend. Despite the fact that I didn't know that much about her, I knew everything that I needed to know. She had a V and she let me put my celery in it. Week 2 of this torrid romance and something isn't quite right, and the land down under it was really burning when I pissed. Like every time. I went to Catholic school, so I knew all about how Satan invades extramarital circs and fills your lust hole with STDs. I knew I had one. The only question was which one. A lot of people would ask, this chick just gave you pickle rot. You dumped her, right? Let me just refer you to the previous statement. I was 16 and she was letting me have sex with her. We only got more serious, like getting close to meet the parents serious. Everything seemed to be great. The pureness problem cleared up and this girl and I kept seeing each other. After a few months she invited me to her family dinner. Her mom was nice and pretty hot. Her dad was my doctor. Perfect story. That ending. You win. This was only the 4th comment I read, and I know that there sure as heck is no way anyone can beat this. I'm intrigued by what happened and then what eventually became of you two. First time my mother met my high school girlfriend was walking into my bedroom with my girlfriend completely naked on the bed and me fully clothed on the computer. Attaboy. Edit. Shit guys, I always wanted my top rated comments to be something insightful and thought provoking. Elaborate please. She worked up the street and during the summer I was working nights. So during the day after she got out there was a few hours before I had to go to work. She would come over every day. Come to my bedroom. And I was able to seduce her into taking off her clothes and letting me do unspeakable things. She would not take off my clothes and would not let me yuck her. After a while I got a little bored. So I'd fool around a little, then let her just lay there on my bed while I went on the internet. One day when my mom was supposed to be at work, she just came waltzing into my room, as mothers so often do, and saw her just sitting there. I like to imagine that she only saw my girlfriend naked and was confused, as my computer desk was around a bend in the room. She never brought it up ever either, never mentioned that nude encounter. Ex-girlfriend's mom greeted me with, "Did you convince my daughter to go on birth control so you could fuel her?" I was shocked to say the least because we had only been dating for a few weeks and she was a virgin. I wasn't pushing the issue because I really liked her. In my confused state, the GF at the time explained to me that she told her mom she wanted to have sex with me and needed birth control. First encounter with her mom and I never recovered from that. She hated me. "How dare you plan to fuel my daughter?" "Well mom, I was planning on taking things slow. However, to be honest, I can now think of nothing else. I think I've had my daily dose of irony. LOL. Yay, pretty much LOL. She straight up didn't believe that I didn't pressure her and thought I would back down at the prospect of sitting at the doctor with her while she got the BC. Couldn't stand me. Funny in the long run. But man, that was a oh shit moment. Mom, there's this guy I really like. I'm thinking about starting birth control because I'm very attracted to him and I'd like to be ready if something happens. I want to do the responsible thing and talk to you about it instead of making some huge mistakes. What is his name? I will hack his skull and burn the remains. When my mother was 14, she wanted to date this boy who was 17. But my grandparents wouldn't let her because they just don't trust him. My mom argues with her parents, but they stand firm on their decision. Flash forward about 8 years, my mom is happily married. Her parents show her the newspaper, and that boy, grown up now, made the paper. Drug deal gone wrong. Armed robbery. Double E and too long didn't read. A spree of crimes ending with, and sometimes you just gotta trust a parent's instincts. Maybe he did that because people never trusted him based off gut reaction and he fell into a deep crumbling depression. Shit, Art's grandparents are terrible. Look what they caused. OP. A self-fulfilling prophecy. Ugh. I was the girlfriend in question. I had come over to my long-distance relationship boyfriend's apartment on the way out of town. I had dressed in a plaid skirt, fishnets, combat boots, and a low-cut black tank because I wanted to leave him with a good memory. So he's got me pinned face first against the wall with my skirt flipped up and he's fingering me when his dad walks in. Apparently he'd come by early to take him to lunch and drop him at his job. I was absolutely mortified during the entire lunch with his dad's girlfriend, and my boyfriend. I had dressed in a plaid skirt, fishnets, combat boots, and a low-cut black tank because I wanted to leave him with a good memory. Ah, the late 90s. How I miss you. I miss that outfit. So do all men who remember the late 90s. I was over at my boyfriend's family's house for Easter where we all got together for an Easter egg hunt, dinner, and party games. My boyfriend's middle sister had recently started seeing a guy she met on Ahamoni, who apparently lived in Toronto. She spent the afternoon telling us about him, that he owned a delivery business and a flower shop, was originally from somewhere in Africa but moved to England and then here, etc. My boyfriend's brother joked that he was a drug dealer for his delivery business, and we laughed as she tried to defend him. So he finally drives up in a very expensive car, wearing a t-shirt with arrows pointing to the shoulders and the caption "Place legs here" written across the chest. Everyone started interrogating him, but he was avoidant of everything. I worked in a flower shop for 7 years, and he couldn't name any flowers. Granted, his English wasn't perfect and he was very awkward, but the drug dealer possibility became more likely as time went on. Afterwards he went full-blown creepy stalker. She broke up with him, since he couldn't explain anything, and he sent her 40+ text messages trying to get her back, wrote poems about how much it hurt to miss her and said he dropped by her work. She blocked his number, reported him on Ahamoni, and everyone in the family has sworn a pact to immediately call police if we see him anywhere. It was like standing next to a train wreck as it happened. Kinda cruel of you guys to treat him that way when he went out of his way to dress up in his nice shirt. Well, did she put her legs there? Asking the important questions. Should have side hugged. When I was an angsty youth, I used to fingerblast my girlfriend in the backseat of her car while her parents sat in the front, driving us around. I would beat the shit out of 15-year-old me. Fingerblast. Fix that for you. Also, I did this too. I was a terrible teenager. I wanna finger bang you into my life. Girl, you like to finger bang and that's alright. I've never felt so lucky to be homeschooled. That sounds awkward as hell. So my GF had this brilliant idea to have her parents and us do this fitness challenge and join a fitness app where we could cheer for each other as we hit our milestones. Mind you, we had to wear these fitness watches to track our calorie burn in progress. Long story short, my girlfriend and I were getting it on in my room and she was wearing that awesome watch that notified the group of her workout at 2 AM. SMH. Her parents asked her why she was working out so late. I'll let you THNK about how it ended. Edit. He was not Asian. Edit again. Apparently fork mechanics are a point of contention on Reddit. Like how? My boyfriend can't hold a knife and fork correctly because he has a fine motor skill deficiency. His writing looks like a 6-year-old wrote it too. This is how I and most I've seen hold a fork. img.com link. This is how he held it. img.com link. That just seems uncomfortable to hold a fork like that. The handsome little ucker sang a song about screwing my hot daughter. My hot daughter. This is how you get strippers. Without stripers, driving on our roads would be a fucking nightmare. Edit. It said stripers. Cheeky monkey. Is that a Modern Family reference? Not me, but a friend's new girlfriend upon meeting his dad. Yeah, rockin' old. Hey, in her defense, she was a newfie. What the duck is a newfie? Ah, Newfoundland. Edit. Duck. My boyfriend in high school was a senior at a different school. I was a sophomore. At their school homecoming game, it was a tradition for all seniors to dress up in camouflage. So my mom first met him when he was dressed head to toe in black and white camouflage and wasn't aware of the tradition. As he was walking toward us, she said, "Oh God, number," and didn't realize I'd heard her. To be fair, he was pure scum. To be fair, he was pure scum. Yes. As he was walking toward us, she said, "Oh God, number, honey, our daughter is dating one of those Alex Jones nut jobs. Do something. It's okay. Honey, at dinner tonight I'll start cleaning my anti-gun propaganda. That'll scare him off." He recounted the story of when he drove home so drunk he lost a tire hitting something, then drove on the rim for at least 4 miles down the interstate. Thankfully he's sober now, but is that something you want to talk about the first time you meet me? Hey, man, I'm the best drunk driver I know. A quote from my dad: "I didn't expect her to be black. Nothing negative, both of my parents just didn't see it coming." One of the first times I met her, my Irish American mother-in-law said, "We're so happy you're Irish, but really we're just glad you're not black." Also, I'm not Irish. Either she's black, or me. Neither are the only responses that come to mind. I'm just sitting here waiting for a story that might sound like me. My daughter brought her new boyfriend home for the first time and he was a fucking wolf. Not even a smart one, either. He just stayed silent the whole time we ate dinner and stared out into space. Then he went and took a steaming shit in the living room that filled the house with some rancid smell. My daughter looked like she definitely was interested in him, though I just have no idea what she sees in him. Do me. My daughter brought her new boyfriend home for the first time and he was just not good. I mean, he wasn't absolutely terrible, but he wasn't normal either. Everything he did seemed subpar. Apparently she thought so too because she dumped him after they first had sex. I was working at a pizza place in my teenage years and started talking to this girl. She came over one night when my parents were asleep. My mother is hard of hearing and my father is a rock when he's asleep. She comes over and we start fooling around and we pass out. I was thinking that since the next day was a work day, she could leave after they left for work. We wake up and we're both naked. So being 17 and looking at a naked girl, we start to fool around again. Then I go for the money shot and get some in her eye. She starts crying and saying it hurts a lot. We leave my room to go to the bathroom so she could watch her face. Now you have to pass the computer room to get to the bathroom and guess who's sitting there? My mom. She took the day off to pick up my cousin from the airport and was on TMZ.com killing time. Her reaction was quite priceless and humiliating as she turned to say good morning and saw me and this girl she never met before butt naked. And that was the last time she came over my house. Work was pretty awkward after that day too. Too long didn't read. Girl comes over for fun time and I go for the money shot and get some in her eye. Mum sees both of us butt naked and kicks her out. My grandma told me about a neighbor family that had a bit of a spat, as she called it, out in their front lawn. The daughter was all in tears and trying to get away from the boyfriend. I guess they were probably in their late teens, early 20s, and this was in the 1950s. The father came out to run the boyfriend off. The father was known as the meekest, kindest guy on the street. When the father comes out the door, the young man got really mad and said something to the effect of, "This is what you get for dragging your parents into our problem," and flat punched her. Grandma said he hit her really hard. The dad went postal. He was a veteran, as many men of his age were then. And grandma said it showed as he unleashed upon him. She never witnessed such savagery in her life. He beat the boyfriend for 15 solid minuets, and as sirens were heard in the distance approaching, he went inside and re-emerged with a large knife and cut both the boyfriend's hands off about midway between his wrists and elbows. Then sat sobbing for an hour on the sidewalk with his daughter. She said he was never arrested and that the boyfriend turned out to be a wanted man. Edit. Upon further inquiry to another family member, the daughter was pregnant. The punch the boyfriend landed on the daughter was to her stomach. The sirens were the ambulances after she started to bleed, and the big knife was a cavalry saber. When the dad swung the sword, the boy put his arms up in defense, and that was that. Edit 2. I have no clue why he was wanted. This was a story I was told when I was 10 decades ago. I asked my aunt about the rest of the details after I posted my first time. My rendition was how I remembered being told of it as a child. My aunt didn't witness it firsthand. She was shoved inside, as were all the young kids. She was told what happened later on. Cut his hands off? What the yuck? Midway through his wrist and elbow? So through the bone? What the yuck? The yuck? What the yuck? I just don't believe this. But I want to believe. Mulder. I really do. Just met my girlfriend's parents over the weekend. I can tell you they were surprised at just how devastatingly handsome I am. I'm not a parent, but I clogged my girlfriend's toilet after pooping and flooded the entire bathroom with poop water, destroying all their bathroom rugs. Not a parent, but I met my high school girlfriend's parents when they returned early from a long walk to find us 69 on their family room couch. I was calmly and sternly asked to leave the house. Then I proceeded to back my dad's car over a random tool lying in the middle of their driveway, popping a tire and causing a loud clunking noise with every tire rotation. I had already yucked up with her parents. I wasn't going to ruin my dad's car and have him kill me too. So I attempted a speedy tire change in the driveway, praying her parents were busy elsewhere. I couldn't find which tire had blown or what caused it. One of the front tires seemed flatter, so I started changing it. As I did, her garage door opens. Her father is in his car attempting to leave for work, and I have now blocked his driveway. He stayed in his running car the entire time I changed the tire, and as I finished, started the car and began backing out of the driveway again. I heard clunk and realized I had in fact changed the wrong tire. So I pulled to the side of the driveway to let him leave and allow me to change the correct tire. Instead, he stayed in his running car, watching me the entire time. He wasn't going to leave until the dumbass who defiled his daughter on his family room couch and spent 20 minutes changing a wrong tire left his property. Too long didn't read met GF's parents while 69. Her dad then inadvertently paid for my next few weekends of drinking. Yikes. Definitely a dinner to remember. My son's best friend for years, since they were in elementary school, this dinner occurred towards the end of their senior year in high school, came over for what I believed to be a run-of-the-mill evening. The kids would always hang out together, usually spending the night at my place a few times a week, playing video games or whatever it is they do. Anyway, as we all sat down, we made a toast when our son unravels with the fact that him and his buddy have some news for us. My wife and I figured they had got into some trouble at school or something along those lines. But then I saw the hand holding. They both started holding hands, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. that my sneaky suspicions of their relationship were starting to look a lot less like mere suspicions. My son came out to reveal that him and his buddy have been dating for the past 2 years, but they're not gay. They then reveal that his buddy may indeed look like a young man, but in fact does not have male genitalia, and is indeed some kind of female. Keep in mind, I just got home from a long day at work, looking forward to a simple night of steak and the Broncos game. Unfortunately, I got a little more than I had expected. The son's girlfriend then proceeds to reach over the table and whisper into my ear, "EBB want some fuck?" At a loss for words, actions, or even thought, I simply said yes. Today we are all happily married and loving life. Okay, I laughed. The first time my dad met one of my girlfriends from college was when he just waltzed into my room and found us in the middle of sex, doggy style, facing the door. Those 2 seconds of eye contact felt like a lifetime. He never mentioned it again though. I like to think he felt an ounce of pride, and he got to see some 19-year-old OS. Before I started dating, we had a kind of friends with benefits thing going on, and my so has the tendency to tell everything to her mom. So she told her how much we banged, about my recreational drug use, our drinking till we both passed out type of shit. This was all good and well because I never met the mom, but now I have to sit across her at dinner tables knowing good and well she knows I drunkenly and coked up her daughter in a bar after closing time. Fun times. Ducking like and subscribe.